I swear by Her Majesty Sir William, if you ever darken this doorstep again, this sword will be sheathed in your gullet. Oh, hello. Well, since you're here, why don't I sit you down, we'll have a drink. I'll tell you a tale. Great ale, fair maidens, adventure, and the Pennsylvania Renaissance Faire. Come on, don't be shy. Hello everyone, Vampire Druid James here, and today I am going to do this sort of vlog thing. It's going to be my first attempt at a video like this, so we're going to see how it all plays out in the end. About a week ago, going on 2 weeks, I don't know, it was the 3rd. It was whenever the 3rd was. The dates just kind of slipped by for me. August 3rd, me and my friend Tori went to the Pennsylvania Renaissance Faire. We'd both been there, but we hadn't been there in several years. I hadn't been there in about 6 or so years. She had been even longer. And we thought it'd be a really great way to spend the day. It'd be an awesome little, adventure we'd go on. And we did it. And we went, and I decided I was going to vlog everything. So that's exactly what I did. So I grabbed, I had my phone. I took a lot of different pictures and videos of us getting there, and the stuff we did and stuff we saw while we were on there. And if you've never been to a Renaissance Fair before, what are you waiting for? Just go. Go. It's a great time. I can really only speak to the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. I have a couple of buddies who have been, all around the country, and they've been to a couple different ones. And they say the Pennsylvania one isn't like the best, but it's one of the best. So I've never been to a different one. I've only ever been to the Pennsylvania one because I live in Pennsylvania. And so we went, and it was a great time. And I'm gonna be putting like this little vlog thing. And if you haven't never been to a Renaissance Fair, seriously go. It's a great time. You don't have to, dress up in costume or anything like I did or Tori did. You can just go and just have a day of it. The Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair, it's every Saturday and every Sunday, and it'll go until late October. So if you're in the area, it's in Mount Hope, and it's like an hour-and-a-half drive from where I live, but it's so worth it, and it's just really amazing. And so a couple different things before I get to the actual videos that I shot. So the Renaissance Fair is a fair, and at least for the PA Ren Faire, it's on I think it's 30 acres at the Mount Hope Winery, and they set up this, mock village, and there's games and tournaments, there's restaurants and taverns and pubs. They have actors just walking around interacting with guests, and it's really great. And the time period they're in fluctuates, and each year they have a overarching story. It's a narrative that is told every weekend. The plot progresses until it finalizes and hits the end towards mid to late October. So this year it is the first year of the reign of Elizabeth I. So we went opening day, so that was actually opening day. That was the inauguration, not inauguration, that's president's, coronation of Queen Elizabeth I. And it was her first day of ascending the throne, and the story was she had come to the Shire of Mount Hope and, created a festival to celebrate her coronation. And she had a human chess match to settle a score between two families of the Shire that were feuding. She had a couple different other shows, and they are famous, at least the PA Ren Faire. Hello, Dakota. is famous for the jousts. They have jousts, and it always incorporates into the overarching story. And I never stayed long enough to be a part of the story, and never like interacted with the story and followed it to its conclusion, because I was usually only there, you know, it opens at 11, and I usually would only ever get there at 11, and I'd leave by like 5, because nobody else wanted to stay the couple hours and like watch how the story concludes. So this year we did that, and it was a whole lot of fun. The jousts were amazing. They got progressively more and more intense. There were 3 different jousts throughout the day, telling the story of, you know, 2 very noble knights, 2 very not noble knights, competing for gold and glory. And the first joust was just a standard joust. It was a festival day, so no blood was to be drawn, no one was supposed to die, and they just go at it, and one of the not so noble knights win, and finds out they're not getting paid, and that it was just for fun, and that it was for like glory, bragging rights. So he gets pissed, and he declares that he throws the gauntlet down for another joust, one that will be paid, and they go from there. And that was the second joust, and it was more, and that one was way more intense. And then it culminates into the third and final joust, which, for reasons I will explain later on, is a fight to the death. And it was just phenomenal, and it was great. And we got to walk around, we interacted with the different actors. I gave a not so classy and not so prim and proper villageman advice on how to speak to the queen, and watched his buddies banter back and forth with him, and it was really great fun. So now I want to just show you something that I'm really happy with, and this is like a birthday, Christmas, forever gift from Tori, because she paid for a large portion of it, and that is this beautiful sword. Now it is rounded, it is dull, except for the point, which is sharp and dangerous, and it's just a beautifully crafted sword. It's a metal wire wrapped hilt. It's very solid, and it was great. And I've never owned like a sword before, just a couple like LARP safe foam swords, so it was really cool getting that. And so let's get on with the story, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hello, your friendly neighborhood druid here, and you're probably wondering why I'm dressed as such. That's because today I'm going to the Pennsylvania Renaissance Faire with my good friend Tori, who has a much better costume than I do, because she bought hers and I made mine.
But I had this forever.
You still bought it, and I had to make this. So yours is automatically of a better quality. So this is just a quick little intro video. I'm shooting. We're outside my house right now. I'm having a cigarette before we drive, get breakfast, and then drive an hour and a half into Pennsylvania. Well, I'm in Pennsylvania, but deeper into Pennsylvania. But the Ren Faire is great. I haven't been in like 6 years. But it's great. It's like a 35-acre plot of land at the Mount Hope Estate. They have like a semi-permanent village they build every year called the Shire. There's actors, and there's comedy shows and dramas, and actors and actresses going around, and you get to interact with them in a way that, you know, you don't normally get to do at things like medieval times. There's games for kids, there's games for adults. Last time I went, they had like aviary, and they had like falcons and owls, and it was awesome. We got a nice marketplace. I actually got this necklace at the Ren Faire 6 years ago, and it has seen better days. But I just want to do a quick intro video so that I can get everything ready to go. Alright, I'll see you. I'll be vlogging parts of it, so you're going to see mostly my face and a fair bit of the beautiful Mount Hope Estate and the Shire that they've erected there for the next 3 months. Today is opening day, and it's great, and I recommend anyone who's in the within the Pennsylvania area, take a day trip and go. It's awesome. So we are 10 minutes away from the Ren Faire. It's been it's exciting. How excited are you?
I'm very excited right now.
Yeah, gonna have fun.
Gonna have the fun time.
Party. The nights. Probably not, but that'd be cool.
I want to see the joust.
I am very excited for the joust.
I want to see it.
As I've told you, I've been to the Ren Faire like 3 or 4 times, and I've never seen the fucking joust.
I was able to see the joust, but like I think we were too busy, and then we caught the tail end of the joust mostly.
Yeah, every time, because I've told you, every time we went, So Tori, how are you doing?
Doing good. I just got myself some food. I had fun. Got a sword.
Wow, my sword you're holding. You're welcome to purchase it for, I don't know, it's worth $3, maybe.
$3 maybe.
Well, it was $12 when it was brand new and not busted up, so. But yeah, got some chicken, chips, some beer of birch.
Beer of birch.
And we're having a fun time at the Renaissance Faire. What have we done so far?
We did a maze. Someone thought I was going to be mischievous and try to find someone else in the maze.
And she would just never.
No, I'm very respectful.
She said, averting her gaze from the camera.
I'm very respectful.
Respectful, yes, respectable. Perhaps not.
How dare you? Dare you say?
And yet you look so angry, and yet you smile.
That's just me angry. I smile when I'm angry.
Alright, so what else have we done?
We saw dogs.
Yeah, there was a nice little dog circus over there. That was great fun.
And I helped you buy a sword.
Yes, I bought a genuine sword that I will do an unboxing when I get home. And I also bought a nice little foam sword just to practice around with. Get the red zip ties to mark that it's been purchased and not stolen, which is a solid idea.
Yeah.
So, anything else we do?
Well, a bit of the joke.
Yeah, we saw a bit of a joust. And the day is young. We still have much to do. We're going to watch some wenches get soaked and in this lovely comedy show. We're going to go see the storyline of the joust, where 2 knights contend for honor and gold. We were going to buy a baby dragon, weren't we? But that ended up being a little out of our price range, sadly. I would have very much loved the baby dragon.
$30 for a dragon.
For the smallest one, not even the one I was looking at. The one I was looking at was $79. Yeah. So far it's been a great day. The day's still young. We've only been here a couple hours. I am out of money. Oh, hey Tori. What did I just do?
You stopped to William Shakespeare.
What did I give to William Shakespeare?
You gave him some advice and a what happened? Was it just like you?
I just gave some poetic lines to William Shakespeare. I love the Ren Faire so much.
God save some of you.
There's good old Willie Shakespeare, Apprentice Glover. God save the Queen! I do believe that is Her Majesty the Queen. Alright, so I'm back in my room. So you've seen the intro I did before I left for the Ren Faire with Tori. You saw a little bit of us in the car. You saw probably the first video of us actually at the Ren Faire. Yeah, so we started walking around. There was some lovely shops. There was pottery shops. There was tea shops. It was just great. There was a lot of places you could go to buy stuff. There were armorers, and there was the forge where I bought that sword, and it was so nuts. There was a lot of different stores and stuff. Jewelers. There was a magic shop. There was just so much stuff there that you can just really do. You can just walk around. It's like 35 acres. It's huge. You just walk back and forth. There's all different sorts of stuff. And it was really amazing. And you get to interact with the actors that they just walk around. I found out, which I don't know why I didn't think this would happen, because notable person during the reign of Elizabeth I, William Shakespeare was there. There was a guy playing a young William Shakespeare, like back when he was still like an undiscovered artist. So he was an apprentice glove maker, so that's what everyone in the Shire knew him as. He was just that dude who like helped the other guy make gloves and wrote crappy plays hoping he'd get famous. And it was really cool. Tori and I were sitting down having some adult beverages, waiting in between shows, seeing what shows we were going to go see. And there was this family sitting off on the bench behind us, off to the side. And one of the actors just walked up, and we were like, we were just sitting there talking. And I overheard their conversation. He was like repeating lines, and he was like, you sir, have you ever been in love? And I don't know if he was like these kids' uncle, or if he was like a friend, or their dad. I don't know. But he straight up looked at the girl sitting across from him. But I presume it was these children's either aunt or mother. And he's just like, I have a dog. I love my dog. And he's like, yes, love your dog. Do you have any lines? How would you describe how you love your dog? And I'm sitting there and I slam my rum punch. And I just turn and I look at the guy and he's like getting up to leave. And I say, what did I say? It was like, the bond of man and his beasts, as pure as that, and as compelling as those of a mother and her kid, or something like that. And it sounded way better when I just like came it off the top of my head in the moment. And the guy looked at me and he was like, oh, that's actually really good. Are you a playwright? And I was like, because I built a character for the Ren Faire that I was like a squire working up to being a knight who was protecting this maiden, Tori. So when we like went into the maze, we did like this maze, and like I took the lead and I had my sword out as if we were going to be jumped around the corner and all that. So I had been like, oh, I wrote some plays, some smaller verses to be read during the intermissions of larger performances. Which is the most medieval way I could say, yeah, I did slam poetry in the high school auditorium, because I'm that guy. And he was like, oh, what wonderful. Perhaps, perhaps one day we shall be discovered, and the world will know our names. I never caught your name, sir. And I was like, oh, I am James Bruce, my lord. And how are you? And might I ask your name? And he goes, oh, I'm William Shakespeare. And then he walks away. And I'm just sitting there like, and then I pulled up my phone, and immediately, you saw the video. Who did I just meet, Tori? You met William Shakespeare. And it's just little encounters, and then if you pay attention at the end of that clip, you just hear like the town choir walk by, and he just screams, God save some of you. It's just these fun little interactions like that you can get at the Ren Faire. It's really interactive, and it's so great. And then we joined the parade for the human chess match, and that was really cool.
And we thank you for overseeing these festivities.
The pleasure is all yours, Sir Marcus.
As you say, my lord. My lord, know you! The jousting knights stand ready to enter the field. Shall I bid them forth?
Call them forth.
I shall indeed. Good people, I ask that you raise your voices and put your hands together for the knights of this most noble cause!
So I don't know if the second one's going to show up, but we were sitting here waiting for the ultimate joust, the conclusion of the storyline for today, and it just starts pouring out of nowhere. There's lightning. We really thought that they were going to cancel it. It looks like they're not, and the rain's letting up. And there's just this gorgeous double rainbow, just right over the field, and it looks marvelous.
You must be young and well. Sir Balin and Sir Lilith are injured by your example.
So is this how it is to be, cousin? You hire an army of mercenaries to depose us?
He's not the only one who is about to
You have made wicked bedfellows indeed, poor cousin.
I will do what is needed to ensure England has a strong rule.
One such as you, cousin?
That is what is necessary. Now surrender. You have not the numbers to defeat us.
She has more defenders than you think, Bagman. Isn't that right, Horace?
I know, it's fine.
To arms, to the ground, to arms,
And so tonight, mine own stand but you throw your lives away for her. So be it. Bring me that crown.
And so now, I can kind of reveal with the whole joust storyline is there were 4 knights, and it was Sir Balin and Sir Lilith were the noble knights, and then there was Sir Roland, and then there was another knight, I think his name was like Sir Logan or something, and they were the not so noble knights. And the first fight, the first joust they went for, and I believe it was Sir Logan won, and he was showboating. He's like, "Bring me the gold," and they were like, "We weren't paying you for this. This is just for glory. It's just like a simple festival day, dude." And he got really pissed because he wasn't getting any money. So he challenges the knights to another joust. He's like, "This one will be for glory." And so the second joust starts a couple hours later, and we sit down for that. And the joust goes on as the clips would suggest, and whereas the first joust was just a joust where they had their lances, they had the shields, they'd go until one of them was knocked off their horse or disarmed, and they'd go until only one of them was left standing. The second one was joust, and then after they broke their lance, or they were disarmed, or they fell off their horses, they would then grab weapons on the ground and have a melee, and that was really cool. And so it was one-on-one. Balin against Sir Logan, and then Sir Lilith against Sir Roland. And Balin, as you saw in the clip, he was the blue and red. He beat his knight, and then Sir Lilith went against Sir Roland, her knight, and midway through it got really like WWE, because she's about to like start getting the upper hand, and he just like someone throws him a whip from the stands, starts cracking the whip, and he nails her across the face. And he drew blood, and it was a festival day. No blood was to be drawn. And he used an unsanctioned weapon. He had already selected his weapon for the melee, so he cheated. So the noble knight Sir Balin immediately leapt to Sir Lilith's defense, and he's like, "You cheated. It's the end. It's over." And Sir Roland viewed this as an affront to his honor. So he did the tradition where he takes off the gauntlet, and he throws it down, and he challenges Sir Balin. And he goes, I will duel you to the death. And they're like, "Well, we need the Queen's permission to fight to the death because it's a festival day and she declared no blood be spilt. So let's do that." But he picked, and then he picked up the gauntlet, and Sir Logan was like, "I will second Roland," and Lilith was, "I will second Balin." And then that dispersed. And then we had the parade. We saw the human chess match, which was really great. And the human chess match was 2 of like the richer families of the Shire were feuding, and Queen Elizabeth, in her wisdom, decided that the best way to decide who would be favored in the argument was a chess match, where they got the giant chessboard, people on the chessboard, and the heads of these 2 families would call out their positions, and then they would, whenever they went to take a piece, they would duel, and whoever won that piece, won that space. It was really cool. And then midway through, a couple people started cheating, and the Queen's cousin starts egging them on, and it comes down to this all-out brawl. the game just breaks down. There's this all-out brawl between these pieces, and they had like this little girl from like the crowd run up and like smack someone, and she was knighted for her bravery, and it was freaking adorable. But then the brawl broke out, and the queen, demands to put a stop to it. She locks the people who started cheating into the stocks, and her cousin starts screaming. He's like, and he starts debating with her, thinking that, maybe they deserve a harsher punishment or this or that. And eventually he gets so flustered he just screams out, if you can't settle a chess match, perhaps you're too weak to sit upon the throne. And the whole crowd just, ooh, bad move there, buddy. Ooh. And the queen responded with, essentially, get the fuck off my chessboard. She was just like, well, if that is how you feel, cousin, then you are to be removed from my sight forthwith. And a bunch of guards came up and grabbed him and dragged him away, and the game progressed. And it was great. And then, so, the third and final joust was set to take place, and it was great. It felt great leading up to it, because it was a really humid, really hot day. And it just started pouring rain. It was a huge thunderstorm right above us, and there was just giant cold raindrops, and it felt so good. It was so relaxing to get out of the freaking heat. But we really thought they were going to cancel the joust, because we thought like the lightning was going to spook the horses. But then just before the joust was scheduled to start, it ended. The storm ended, and there was the double rainbow across the field, and I was like, this couldn't have worked out better. This couldn't have been more cinematic if they had planned for the storm. And it just worked out marvelously. And then, so the joust goes on, and they start fighting and fighting and fighting. They all go through their rounds, they break 3 lances, they go down to the melee, and then right before it looks like Sir Balin and Sir Lilith are going to lose, the queen's cousin and an army of mercenaries storm the field. And it was really cool. And he starts spouting how he's going to take the throne by force. And then the people of the Shire all ran up to the queen's defenses. It was this huge melee. And I was like, I didn't record nearly as much as I thought I did. Which sucks, because this stuff was awesome. Just seeing, these are like 50 people just duking it out in this sandpit. And they had sound systems for cannon blasts and pyrotechnics. The field started, fire started blasting everywhere. People started, falling in the explosions. The smoke got so thick that it was like out of a war movie. And I think the coolest part was I looked over and I was scanning the area, seeing what the coolest bits of the fight. And just as I look over, I see the two. I see Sir Logan, Sir Roland slit the throat of Sir Balin as Sir Lilith lays on the ground, wounded, just staring in abject horror. And I was just like, oh, and he just drops like a sack of hammers. And eventually, the queen calls a stop, and it was out of an anime, where you see the anime characters they're fighting, and then out of nowhere the main characters just gives out this powerful speech, and it convinces their enemy to switch sides. And that's exactly what happens, and her cousin's like, wow, you actually might be strong enough for the throne. So he calls the mercenaries off. Half of them are dead, the rest run off. Because she orders her men to all stand down, and if he's going to kill her and take the throne, he's gonna kill her himself, and he can't do it. So then the other knights, at this point, Sir Roland and Sir Logan are the only ones left on the field, and Sir Lilith kicks the shit out of both of them, and she kills them both. And it was awesome, and Tori and I got a picture with Sir Lilith, and she was like the new tournament champion. And it was just so great with the explosions and the horses running around. It was just oh man, it was just such a great show. And then Tori's like, okay, we gotta go now. I'm tired. I don't want to get caught in rush hour traffic. And it's like, can't we just stay? Like, there's one more thing. It's like the finale. She's like, no, I'm tired. I want to go. And I was like, all right, well, you're my ride. And then she starts talking to this girl who was selling masks. And by the time we finished our conversation, we were like the only people left at the Ren Faire. And she was just like, and I looked at her, I was like, and you didn't want to go see the finale. We missed the finale for you to go chat with a sales girl. And it was great. She was nice. She was a sweetheart. She was awesome. I really wish I had seen that finale though, but all in all, it was a phenomenal day. And the story was great. We walked along with the parade and it was awesome. And that was just one day. And they go for 2 days a week for like 3 months. You know, they do it on the weekends. Each weekend has its own story and its own theme. And it's amazing. And if I had the money, I would get a season pass and I would be there every Saturday and Sunday, because it's just so cool. And you gotta just visit the Ren Faire. Most states in America have a Ren Faire. PA, I've heard the PA Ren Faire is one of the best, and I recommend checking it out if you're around the Mount Hope area. If you're in PA or you're in, you know, parts of Jersey or whatever, and you feel like driving out to Mount Hope and going to the Ren Faire, I recommend absolutely do it, because it is so great. And it's such a fun experience. Go in costume, don't go in costume, buy a costume when you're there. You know, it's awesome, and it's just such a great experience, and I 10 out of 10 would recommend any of you going. And I just wanted to share this. So this is the Vampire Druid signing off. I wish you well, good tidings, and a wonderful tomorrow. So that is how it went, and it was a wonderful time. Here's a couple of pictures that I grabbed. Tori with her coconut colada. She looks so adorable in this photo. And then we got a picture of us with Sir Lilith, the surviving knight. And it was a great time, man. Thanks for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed the video, and let me know if this was too long, if it was really crappy quality, or if there was something I did that you really liked. Thanks, and thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.